any advice for the consumers out there that are like, I mean, look at
Yeah.
test results or?
Yeah, you can look into, how the process. So if you know the company, it's like anything else. If you know their processing or know their ingredients, then that's where you can develop the trust. I don't use, color remediation. I don't use medias that strip away any of the terpenes and flavonoids. If it's dark and black, then obviously you know that there's a lot of garbage in the product. And so mine, you'll do a dab and you'll clean it, and it'll be literally beautifully golden yellow, if not clear, after you clean it with a Q-tip. If that's been used on it, you'll know when you dab it how dirty the Q-tip is after you do a dab.
Demitri Downing back with another episode of Media Unshackled at the Flower Expo. We're here in Michigan, the first ever Flower Expo in Michigan, and I haven't been in Michigan in a long time, so I'm excited to be out here. Even more excited to be meeting individuals from the cannabis industry and the cannabis community. And I'm here with one of my new friends, Scotty. How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you as well.
And I finally just got the Cannabis thing as I look closely at all the bee action.
Yes.
That is really clever. I like that.
Thank you.
I forgot our co-host on the mic now.
Hey guys, it's Destiny Blanco here as your co-host in the background.
Yeah, she's
and
like
navigating the buttons. Camera 1,
she's like the Ed McMahon of the podcast. So
3.
so Cannabis
She's the one
extract.
making it all happen, right?
No, she knows. She's like
Hey, somebody has to.
Yes.
she's like Spock and Lieutenant O'Hare all wrapped up into one.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're a great team.
Awesome.
Actually, she's like probably the entire crew of the Star Trek Enterprise all wrapped up into one.
Yes.
And yeah, so Cannabis extracts. Tell us about. First of all, tell us. My guess is, when did you get involved in cannabis?
I've been involved in cannabis before 2008.
Okay.
But then when the legalization came into market, I was actually part of 3 ordinances helping them write the ordinance.
Put your mic up a little bit higher there.
I helped 3 municipalities write the ordinance. So I was part of the inception of the licensing industry in Michigan. I was involved with the first licensed dispensary in Saginaw County.
Right.
And I was a part of the development of one of the first weed parks in Michigan.
What year did medical marijuana come to Michigan?
Legalization came in around 2008. I think it started in 17, and
Right.
the first licenses came out in 2018.
Okay.
So I was a part of that.
Okay.
The beginning. I mean, my license number is 000153. So
I like that.
there's over 1,000 of them now, but I was in the first cusp of the.
Is that a processing, a brand license, a retail license? How's that?
I started with a retail license, then I had a grow license, but my baby's always been the processing license. But
Right.
that's the one I hold on to the most,
And I'm sorry, can you say your first name, last name again? I might have been mixed up in the production.
Yeah, Scotty, first name, Ray is his last name.
There you go. There you guys go, the audience for you.
Yes.
We
Say-
missed
I
that.
like how she asked that. Say your first name and last name.
Yes.
Like she's
Sorry.
interrogating you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I felt like deep in the production right there. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no
Is it-
problem. No problem.
Can you spell it for me,
So
please? No,
so
I'm kidding.
but so the processing license, do you process, like, do you like white label, do you contract manufacturing, or the processing license is so you can do your brand?
Well, I collab with some of the top growers in the state. We've held titles. We won the 2023 High Times Cup. We just won first and second place in the Best in Grass just recently, and then we're competing to keep our title for the High Times here in 2024, which the results for that comes out at the end of this year. So I just deal with some of the top growers. I'm really picky on who I do business with. We're in over about 300 stores right now that I kind of cater to. I'm very passionate in the industry. I got into this originally for the medicinal aspects of it.
Right.
I used to be involved with a doctor. His name was Dr. Sakib Doc Green. I used to work with his patients, treating cancer, PSD, PTSD, different elements, crones, and I used to make capsules and stuff for him.
So his name was Dr. Green. That's what they called him.
Dot Green is his company, but his actual name is Dr. Saqib.
It just happens to be Doc Green, and he got involved with
Yeah,
cannabis.
yeah,
That's a trip.
yeah. He actually
That's
has,
funny.
that's his practice. His name is Doc Green.
That's
So,
really cool.
yeah, so I used to work with him back in the caregiver days, and I just gravitated to the medicinal aspect of cannabinoids.
We are all about. We have a caregiver history in Arizona as well, and that's where we're from. But California, we're all about the caregivers. Caregivers are probably the most legitimate individuals in the cannabis industry. So when somebody can cite and remember the
Yeah.
caregiver days, you're dealing with somebody who loves the plant and loves the
Yeah.
community and loves what it's really about. And it's about the medicine, the the way it helps people improve their lives.
We're the ones that paved the way
Yeah.
for where it's at. So the credit is not given to the caregivers of what they brought to the table. And a lot in the industry, everyone's focusing on quantity, not quality. And the caregiver aspect is what brings the quality into it, because we kind of learned, from all our mistakes before we brought it to the big corporation
So how
market that is now.
So how does extracts in general? I've always wondered this with extracts and oil. There's a lot of cultivators out there. There's a lot of places you can go for your flower, and then you extract, and then you create your oil. How do you maintain? You have already said that you work with a few particular ones that you've chosen
Sure.
out. I know you said that strategy, but how else do you maintain the quality of your product? You know,
Well,
so you have to grow it all yourself to truly maintain.
sure,
right?
and I did that as well. But the market of the cultivators, they kind of get the, per se, the shitty end of the stick, because the growers, are kind of the first ones that get hammered on pricing and everything, and a lot of them don't get what the pricing that their product is worth, just because you got this market that's flooded with flour everywhere, and a lot of the retailers are focusing on the dollar store mentality of operations and just going cheap, cheap, cheap. So how I maintain the quality is, one, getting, doing business with the cultivators that care, have the passion for the plant, have the passion for the pheno and then the terpene profiles. And I focus and hone in on that. And then if they have that mentality of the quality of how they want their plant grown, I will just make that shine,
Yeah.
by extracting. I do hydrocarbon extraction,
So it's a certain type of extraction that you
certain
think is.
type of extraction.
And I've heard a lot of different types of extraction out there. Why are you particularly sold on this particular type of extraction?
I like
Hold it. I was saying,
No problem.
I always joke that my method of extraction is just jumping up and down on the plant like they used to in ancient times. But
like they do grapes.
I'm a fucking villager, man. I am a villager.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So I do hydrocarbon extraction, which is done at the ranges of -50 to -90. I'm removing all the lipids and fats, so you're having a limited amount of carcinogen effect. The product is extremely clean. Yes, is it done with solvent, but I purge all that out. A lot of people like to say that, oh, rosin's cleaner, but I beg to differ. If you take my test results next to solventless test results, I mean, I have little to very zero to little residual solvents that literally go away by time it's touched the heat. It's purged out. By time it's getting inhaled, it's literally 0 ppms of any residual solvents. So it's extremely clean,
Right.
extremely flavorful, and obviously my winning of the competitions have actually showed that.
Yeah. No. And that's fantastic. Now, does it help to if you grow it, control it from the beginning yourself, or I mean,
Well,
you can
sure.
curate your farms and stuff,
Sure,
make sure you're
sure.
getting from the right person. But would that also help in the process?
What that helps with is, say, if I have a pheno that I grow and then I process it, yeah, like I might be able to curate it, but it's like you got to have one of the items that you're like most passionate about. I'm passionate about the extraction. I love growing as well, but it's hard to do everything.
Yeah.
So, my focus is on extraction because I'm a pheno hunter, and I know the knowledge and I have the knowledge of how things are grown. So when I go sit down and talk to the cultivators, I know what I'm looking for. I loop the product. I look at the trichomes. I look at the heads on them. So I pay attention to all those details. And when I extract, then I kind of know what I'm already getting myself into, because I know what good flower is and how it's going to run when I touch it. So I don't need to cultivate it, but it is nice because then you kind of get that soil to oil,
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Let me ask you this, because this is your question. Obviously, if somebody's watching the show, they can be like, "Hey, this guy, I can trust this guy. He knows his way around stuff. You're a caregiver, old school, total credibility. Your stuff is available all over Michigan. Try it, get it, all good. Eventually, you're going to be out of Michigan, going elsewhere. Hopefully, you'll expand and be nationwide,
Sure,
globally, eventually. Okay,
sure.
but somebody in California who's buying extracts, what can they do to make sure that they're getting a quality extract? I mean, what would you do if you're in California and you're picking up some extract, or if you're picking up, a product? What would you do? Any advice for the consumers out there that are like, I mean, look at
Yeah.
test results or
Yeah, well,
you
I
know,
mean, obviously, you can look into, how the process. So if you know the company, it's like anything else. If you know their processing or know their ingredients,
Mhm.
then that's where you can develop the trust. I don't use color remediation. I don't use medias that strip away any of the terpenes and flavonoids. Obviously, the reputation I have obtained in the industry and people that have tried my product knows that it comes from a quality background, and really that's how it is. I think time goes with it. When you put the product in, the connoisseurs will tell you whether it's good or bad. Obviously, another way to test this is when you put it in a banger, take a Q-tip after you put it heat to it. If it's dark and black, then obviously you know that there's a lot of garbage in the product. And so mine, you'll do a dab and you'll clean it, and it'll be literally beautifully golden yellow, if not clear, after you clean it with a Q-tip. So that's a really way to tell if it's been done with outdoor grow, that's been done with CRA, color remediation. If that's been, used on it, you'll know when you dab it how dirty the Q-tip is after you do a dab.
So what's next after Michigan? Do you have any plans to go out of this state as a
I've been
company?
invited to
Yeah.
by a couple companies. We're kind of working details out. I have kind of a funny dynamics partnership that I'm involved with, so I'm really trying to see if I can spread my wings and uh, buy my partner out, or if I can do that, I think I would be a little more cleared to be able to really focus on
Yeah.
expanding in other markets. So I do have some challenging aspects in the partnership that I'm with, but I have been invited to a couple states. It really takes just money, timing. Right now, I'm just trying to really hone my craft here and really blossom. And then if it makes sense and the right move happens or the right opportunity, then I'll take that.
And that's what Media Unshackled and Media is more about. The professional development, the business development, the regular story stuff, the industry stuff, the supply chain stuff, how people get into industry. And, you obviously have told us about your path into the industry and how they build and grow and change their business. So we focus on that with Being Unshackled. So it's fascinating. Like one day, you're going to be in Florida. One day you're going to be in California. One
Sure.
day,
I believe that too.
which is really cool. And we wish and we hope for the success of guys like you, who I'd call like the country store, the boutique,
Sure.
the more credible, but the caregiver, that wear that with the badge of honor, because those
That's
you
where it
guys were
came
the
from.
good guys.
100%.
Yeah,
We were claimed to be the bad guys back then, but
that's true.
we paved the way, and we're the ones that took the risk.
We're-
We're the ones that dealt with all the stresses and
Yeah.
looking out our windows and rear view mirrors all the time.
No, and I wonder where the first caregivers came from, because I know California, all these different states in 2000s, everybody's talking caregivers. Were there caregivers in the 90s and 80s?
Yeah, I think well, not
I mean,
the
who's
90s. I don't think the
yeah,
90s.
2000 something.
2008, 2009 area.
People
is
start
when-
talking about caregivers.
Yeah,
and the concept.
that's when the first caregiver started coming out in that time frame to the 2009s, 10s area. So
Well, that's excellent, man. Anything else people should know about Cannabis?
extracts.
B-E-E. I love that.
Well, I could tell you where kind of the logo
Yeah.
the logo has a background. The logo, I used to be a bodybuilder, so the canopy represents of where my past comes from, and the bees are considered the hardest working species on the planet. And then you need a team. Together, everyone achieves more. So the bee, the hive, the camaraderie of what bees do, they have each other's back. They're loyal to each other, and the muscularity was my background of being a professional bodybuilder at the back in the day.
Well, I look forward to your advancement. I always think to myself, I mean, this industry could evolve like honey. You know, I mean, and honey is a lot more complicated industry than most
Absolutely, it
people
is.
think. And there's a lot of local types of honey, and that's very important. But you never know how this industry is going to evolve.
Absolutely.
But I really, really, really hope for your success. It's guys like you that keep this industry interesting. You know,
I agree.
I
Thank
don't,
you.
I mean, I get that somebody from New York is going to come along and say his head buyers at Walmart that we need to buy a hemp derived beverage and we need to manufacture it, but they're gonna end up buying it off somebody like you,
Sure.
and then that name and that history will disappear. They'll market it, but it's not gonna be the same now. It's still alive, you know, this local craft kind of thing, and I love it, and that's what keeps me going involved in this industry.
Yeah, the
I mean,
boutique cannabis is not going away.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be more people that shop at a Walmart than they do at a Whole Foods. You know, this is what it is. You got your connoisseurs that seek that top quality, high quality product, but you know, a lot of the consumers really can't afford that. But I put on an economical quality product at a price that is not greedy. I try not to be greedy at all in the market. I try to be my product to be attainable and then educate with the product behind it. So
how do people
That's
look you up?
awesome.
I have an Instagram, Cannabis Extracts, one word. I have a website that's www.cannabisextracts.com. You know, and then I have a Twitter, Cannabis Extracts. It's just all one word, Cannabis Extracts.
Do you
It's
have
fine.
a mascot? I mean, like a giant 6 foot.
But I've been
mascot?
asked
Yeah,
to have
that's
one
a must.
maybe down the road.
MJ BizCon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Have a bee walk around.
Yeah.
If I become a multi-state operator, that is definitely something I'm going to do. I'll definitely because I already got the quote that costume's not going to be cheap.
It was about $3,000.
Yeah, actually more. I had it quoted for about 5,500.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something cool, and it's going to be marketing that will go far.
No, you got to get it done right too. You got to make it
It's
look.
got to be done right. Absolutely, I'm not going to have it done cheaply.
You should look at having it done in Mexico or Colombia. Labor's cheaper. A lot
Or
technical
China.
work. China. Well, I don't know about China.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the same creativity and the
Oh yeah.
textile weaving way.
I agree.
The Latino people.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway, but yeah, so we look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you the rest of the year, and you know, good luck and everything.
Actually, pleasure
Pleasure
having
meeting you,
on.
Scotty.
Yes,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much. And that was another episode of Meet Unshackled.
Thank you.